Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Stu Curry with MojoFeet, here to talk to you about some tools, techniques, and exercises you can do to help break in your custom orthotics. We're going to start with this awesome ball that comes in your kit, and what we're doing with this ball, a big part of it, is reminding your brain that you have a foot. So we're going to work some of the tissues on the bottom of your foot because we're talking about some change, right? And we want your body to adapt to that change well and easy. So we're going to use this ball to help with that. This is Dr. Courtney Conley with GaitHappens to show you a little bit more about how to do that.
Yeah, this is going to be where we start using your foot health kit. So with this ball, you're simply going to place it underneath your foot. And what we recommend is you stay kind of in the meaty part of the foot. You don't want to be using this ball over the bony areas of your foot. So underneath your big toe, for example, or directly on your heel. So you're just going to roll, we'll start going forward and backwards, and we'll do this for about 60 seconds to 90 seconds. You can also windshield wiper the foot. So you can just keep the ball on the ground, and then we're going to go across the foot in different directions here. You will find some areas that are more tender than others. The goal is not to bruise your foot. Go easy, less is more here. The other thing you can do to get some better extension out of the toes is just put the ball on the ground, and again, just windshield wiper across the toes, and you can start to gain some good extension in the foot.
All right, now that we have the foot activated, one of the muscles we really want to focus on is your calf, your gastroc. So that's a muscle that we find while you're breaking in your orthotics. We want to make sure that's nice and loose. It helps with the whole process. So we're going to work on that a little bit with the ball.
So you're just going to take the ball, and if you find the kind of meaty muscle right on the inside of the calf, your medial gastroc, that's really going to be one of the areas we want to focus on. So you can take that ball and just put it right on that area, and you can just kind of roll back and forth here. Some spots will be more sensitive than others. When you find a tender area, what you can do at that time is then flex and point your foot. So I'm going into dorsiflexion and plantar flexion here, and I can do that at all different areas in my calf. So once we've worked on improving some of this fascial mobility, now we want to get in there and work on stretching. So what we're going to have Dr. Perez do here is her toes are going to be pointing straight ahead. We want to make sure that the heel is driving down and back. And then she's simply going to lean into the wall. You want to feel that you're getting a stretch in the back of the calf here. Oftentimes, what patients will do is they'll cheat the system a little bit, and instead of getting ankle dorsiflexion, they'll cheat through their foot and go into excessive pronation, with the foot turns out and you get more of a collapse here. If you feel this is something that you're doing, you can take your orthotic, put your foot on the orthotic, and you'll see how you're going to get a little more control through that medial arch. Then from there, same process. Drive the heel down and back, stretch, and then you can begin to isolate the calf here. And then what we're going to want to do here is you can do a static stretch, hold for several minutes, or we can do more dynamic where she just simply pumps the lower leg.
All right, the next step in helping you break in your orthotic and get your foot used to the orthotic is to work on the ball of the foot. So many people have issues and problems with the range of motion of their big toe, and we're going to help that along with some exercises that Dr. Courtney is going to show you.
So now you have worked the bottom of the foot, we've done some static stretching into the calf, and yes, again, like we've talked about, we want to start to improve ranges of motion at the toe and at the ankle. So we're going to take this band and I'm going to put a little bit of tension on my foot, so it's going to bring me into dorsiflexion or flexion here. And then I can just, again, point and flex, and you can do this about 10 times. Then the other thing you can do here is we want to work the ankle in different ranges of motion. So if I pull up on the inside, that's going to take me into inversion. And if I go on the outside, it'll take me into eversion. So I'm simply moving my ankle back and forth. And again, you can do that about 10 times. Then we can take the band, wrap it around your big toe. Okay? From there, you can see when I press my big toe into the band, I'm going to get an activation of the tissue on the bottom of my foot. So you can hold that for about 5 seconds, then relax, and then you can pull the band back and you will get a good stretch through that medial band of the fascia and through the bottom of the foot.
All right, moving on with getting your foot ready for change. is the toe spacers, which I'm really excited about because it combines some of the work that the orthotic is doing on your arch with getting your toes ready for some change as well. For that, we have the toe spacers in your kit.
So one of the most important aspects of foot function is toe splay. So after you've worked on the mobility of your foot and ankle, what we're going to recommend is that you start to integrate the usage of these toe spacers. So you're simply going to put them on your foot. This will get easier with time. And then we're going to recommend about a 5 to 10 minute break-in period. So just start wearing them around your house. See what it feels like to have something in between your toes for splay. Once you start to get accustomed to the toe spacers, then what you can start to do is wear them in your shoes with your orthotics. We do recommend a wide toe box shoe. You are going to need splay within the shoe in order for the toes to be in their appropriate alignment. There are ways to customize your toe spacers if you feel you need to modify them for any reason. For example, if there's a hammer toe. So if you take out the QR code in the toe spacer bag, you can simply scan the code and you will have instructions to do so.
All right, now you have some tools to help you during the first couple weeks especially of breaking in your foot orthotics.
Simply by paying attention to how your foot is going to move on top of the orthotic will give you such a better experience with using it.